by McKinney's brother, Rich Hill, who is the opponent of Mark Walton here in Game 2. Talk about nepotism. Keep it all in the family.
Keep it all in the family is right. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, there's probably not another sport that encompasses so much of family participation as bowling does.
It's tough to get the family of 5 out there and play football. You know, you give the little 3-year-old the ball and you hit him once and he's out of the game, you know?
Yes, but 10 years down the road when he's making mega bucks for dad because he's on the tour, you know, you have to get them started early. In bowling, in golf, any of those major money sports like that.
Exactly.
Get them started early.
My little boy, he's throwing billiard balls around the house. In his form, he follows through.
Sure, Mom loves that.
Yeah, into the clock and everything.
All right, Dave, Rich Hill, you said when he was throwing his practice balls, nothing but 10s.
This man owns this place. I don't mean realistically, but figuratively. And we have something on some of his scores.
He's rolled a 837 series here not that long ago. In fact, he's got 3 of them, and I think they probably were all here. 13 300 games.
When it comes to bowling, and it comes to strikes and spares lanes, this guy's the guy to beat unless he makes one of his mistakes, and you saw it right there, the ball going high, leaving the 6, 7, 10. A difficult spare for anyone. But the left-handed version of this is even more difficult because here you've got a ball traveling from left to right, trying to make a pin go to the left. Let's watch. Not the way to do it.
6-10, and that opens the door for fellow house bowler Mark Walton. In case you missed the first game, Walton was a winner by a count of 241 to 188 over David the Bad Right Ankle Forwood. If you did miss it, Forwood sprained his right ankle on Friday and just wasn't himself today. And Walton took advantage of it, but Walton right now trying to take advantage of that open by Rich Hill, second frame.
That ball right there will hopefully be converted for a spare, but it's not an easy one as we look at our score sheet. Walton, if he fills the frame, will give him about 40 in the second, which would give him a 12-pin lead. But this is the 3-6. Potential of chopping this spare is always there. You must cover both pins with the ball or try to shoot the pocket. That's the one thing you don't want to do, is chop the 3 off the 6.
That's exactly what he did.
Well, we've got a you take it, I don't want it situation, and that situation is resulted in a tie game.
You know, it could be that since both of these gentlemen bowl here at Strikes and Spares, maybe they're under a little bit more pressure because they know each other real well, and they may compete against each other in league.
Plus, they also know that they have the reputation of the house in the state, and they have a nice crowd behind them.
Let's see if we can pick it up here on the replay. What a fantastic shot he came up with there. Look at it. Deep knee bend. Great execution. Going right over about the 13th board, throwing the tight line. Look at this. 1-3. No deflection. 2-pin coming off the wall. Hacksaw into the 7. What a strike. Rich Hill's got his hands full.
Let's see how he handles it. He knew he made a mistake there. The right arm went up as soon as he threw the ball, Dave.
Well, one of the tips that we've talked about, and we saw it 2 or 3 weeks ago, was the arm swing. If your arm swing's not straight, there's a very good possibility you're going to make a bad shot. Rich, and you know it right away because your elbow flies out to the right or your hands hit you in the face or something crazy. And Rich knew it. He pulled the ball, elbow went out. Much better extension on that shot for a spare.
So Mark Walton rides a 3-bagger into the midway point of his match with Rich Hill. When we come back, the completion of Game 2 here on Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling. Way through game number 2 of the Rich Hill-Mark Walton match. You're seeing Rich Hill right now down by a couple pins in the 5th frame.
That's what we were looking at in practice time after time after time again, but what are you going to do? Let's take a look at it here. Watch. Center your screen. The head pin's going to go to the right, come off the wall, nudge the 5 out. That's the pin action you want to create with a good, powerful wrist at the bottom of the swing to lift up and through the ball, not twirl around it.
Rich Hill, 34-year-old salesman from Bethel, Ohio. The big left-hander cranks it up and leaves the 7-pin solid.
Tell you what, that was an interesting shot if we can still pick it up here. It was, we talk about deflection time after time again. That's the thing that's going to leave your corner pins. The ball after that shot, now watch it here, jump extremely to the left. You see it there? Now it's actually going to finish almost dead behind the 7-pin. The deflection is what causes the corner pin leaves 9 out of 10 times. And you can watch your ball roll through the pit, and that'll tell you if you threw a good shot or not.
Hill picks up the 7-pin. Now, to continue the Verado epic when he started to talk about this man, Mark Walton, taking 10 years off from 74 to 84. Dave Neurath getting back to it before we went to break. How much of an effect does it have on your continuing bowling career?
In fact, Tommy, it can be an improvement in some cases because everybody has little bad habits that they develop. And with enough time off, your body forgets the bad habits and will remember the things like, like riding a bicycle. I haven't ridden a bicycle in 10 years, but I got $1 says I can do it, right? But you forget a few of the bad points. As you look at the score there, Mark Walton's really putting it on Rich Hill with another strike here. It'll put him about 18 pins up now, lead somewhere around there, 18, 20. But no, it can actually help you. You'll come back and you'll do the things that your body knows that are right, and you'll forget the things that you were doing wrong. So it can be a help.
Well, it certainly has helped Mark Walton, at least today. Another strike. Make it 6 strikes in 7th frame.
He's sneaking back off the approach, and I tell you what, so would I. But for a critical shot, let's look at it here. Head pin, straight back, 2-pin to the wall, wedges itself in between the 4 and the 7, gives it a little twist, and he's giving us a little twist coming back for a 3-bagger.
Boy, if he continues to roll like this, Robin Burris, the king, is going to have his hands full.
Ooh, okay, Rich.
Rich Hill, lucky break, but I tell you what, the way things are looking right now for Mark Walton, he is in the driver's seat. Rich Hill does break down the split, leaving the 4-7.
You know, Strikes and Spares recently rejoined the BPA, and they have the honor of holding a record from years ago. Now, this is not, I don't think it still stands, but back on March 17th of 1961, the Stevenson machine team rolled a 34-70 series, which was the record at that time. That included a 1,200 game. It's a 5-man team.
You bet that record doesn't hold up anymore. I was on 2 teams that knocked it off twice. Wow. The scores anymore in our record is history, too. I mean, the young guys put together a team, and then there's 5 young dudes at the time as you look at the score there. Mark Walton has a potential 58 pin lead, and I tell you what, Rich Hill can throw those from now until the end of this game, and he's going to have a lot of help from this man. Mark Walton is just going to have to go right into the channel and throw a couple of bad shots.
In other words, something that he hasn't done at all today. Mark Walton, in his first appearance on Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling, just making it count. He keeps it on the lane the rest of the way. It looks like he will go on to meet Robin Burris in game number 2. Or the championship game.
Absolutely fantastic. A 4-bagger right there. Mark Walton in the driver's seat. 43-pin advantage with a double working. Let's add 10, 53 pins, and he's got 2 frames to go. Mathematically, history.
Of course, what he's competing against right now is the high game.
That's right. He's trying to shoot over 269.
Hard to believe the way we started out this year, Bo, with Darrell Higgins getting that in the second week. It just looked like we were going to have these astronomically high scores all year, and I guess it kind of levels out. I mean, these guys are only human.
That's right.
I think our average has reached as high as 216, and now it's around 208. So it's been in that fluctuating area of about 8 pins or so.
I think we're really about the same as we were last year at this time, to be honest with you.
Correct. Of course, this year, we're at week 10. Week 11, we go to Loveland Lanes next week, and then the championship game at Pinhouse Lane.
That's right. You know, we're going to be at Pinhouse on April the 12th. At 10 a.m., all of the bowlers that you've seen on TV, we've got 29 men and 9 women so far. Now, that doesn't count who's going to make it from for the show at Loveland. So it's 29 men and 9 women who will compete for the grand prize, $1,500.
That's not too shabby. And
Absolutely.
Dave Newrath, you're down to your last qualifying this afternoon.
This is it. I got a raw thumb and all, but we're going to go there and tape it up and give it a whirl.
You know, we had a 300 roll yesterday. I didn't mention it earlier. At Loveland, Steve Bruck, who's been bowling with us every week, and who provided some nice donuts for us from Buskin Bakery a few weeks ago, rolled a 300.
Is that what it takes to shoot a 300? I wish you'd have told me early on in the season, Bo. I'd have had donuts there every week, I guarantee you.
I tell you what, the girls at the tournaments, they work so hard, and it's nice once in a while the guys bring this, bringing this donut.
I'll remember
or a sandwich.
that.
You know, and speaking of the girls, I wanted to thank my secretary, Michelle Brown. If it wasn't for her providing all of the computer work for us this year, she took over for me and did everything at the office and gave me a break this year. I really appreciate what Michelle's done for me.
Well, statistics certainly have been up to date. As you're seeing Rich Hill just finish out here.
215, Tom.
4 straight.
We told you if he took it to the wall, it would just force Mark Walton to mark. That's a 215. The situation is this. Mark Walton has 178 in the 7th frame with a double working. That automatically gives him 198 in the 8th without throwing a shot. He does not even have to mark.
Oh, what the heck?
But why not, right? Let's go for something.
Well, in case you haven't figured it out by now, Mark Walton will go on to meet Robin Burris in the championship match. Right now, Mark Walton trying to win himself a black and white TV from our 7-Up sponsors.
I think you can only get a pin shy.
268 is potential.
Yeah,
the number, Bo?
269. Yeah. Pin count cost him. No, I think the miss cost him. 2nd frame.
Well, let's not tell him until after the game. I'm sure Mark Walton will take a 268 going into the championship match.
That's for sure.
Rich Hill, my pick to throw a big game. This game did not come through, even though 215 is a nice game anytime. But against red-hot Mark Walton, 215 wasn't even close.
So if he strikes out here, finishes 268 for an average in 2 games of 254. And Robin Burris sitting down 3 lanes down, saying to himself, what's it going to take to beat this guy? Well, in a couple of minutes, he's going to find out. Mark Walton throws his final ball. And the final score coming in. Mark Walton, a 264. Rich Hill, a 215. Championship match is set for week number 10 of Hudepohl's King of Bowling. Mark Walton against the King, Robin Burris.